Good morning, children. Last session you had learned about Mesopotamian civilization. Let's learn Chinese civilization. The history of Chinese civilization can be traced back to over 4,000 years. It is one of the oldest and long-lasting civilization of the world. Is it clear? Introduction. China is an East Asian country with a large territory, a huge population, and an ancient history, with written records dating back 4,000 years. China was flourished on the banks of river Wangho, the Yellow River. It was also called as a river of sorrow because its flood brought death and destruction. Come on, let's see the video of Wangho River. Wang Ho, the Yellow River, is recorded as the mother of China. This river extends 5,464 kilometers long and it ranks fifth place in the world. It flows through 9 provinces in the east. The rich silt carried by Wang Ho formed fertile land that is the birthplace of Chinese country. And look at this yellow river, children. 2019, there was a flood and thousands of people, the buildings completely collapsed. It looks so dangerous, isn't it? The first dynasty that ruled China was the Shang Dynasty in 1765 BC. Shang Dynasty was the first Chinese dynasty for which we have a written and archaeological evidences. It was a dynasty that made great contributions to Chinese civilization. Shang Dynasty was succeeded by Zhou Dynasty, and later Zhou Dynasty overthrew the Shang Dynasty in 12th century and continued to rule till 3rd century BCE. During this period, Chinese rule and culture spread over a huge area from Inner Mongolia to Vietnam and from Tibet to Japan. Now you need to identify these 4 places, okay? When Shang dynasty was ruling, they occupied the Yellow River Valley and they often called the birthplace or cradle of Chinese civilization. Let's see the society, how they lived. The social structure of ancient China was the key to determining who was the most important and most respected people of ancient times in China. The 5 groups were Shi, Nong, Gong, and Shang and Nubi. We can also call them as Emperor, the first, the next level King and Governor, and the third level is the state officials, nobles, and scholars, and the next level is peasants. The fifth level we have artisans, merchants, soldiers, and the last is slaves. The joint family system was common with several generations living in the same household. The eldest male member was respected as the head of the family, and families lived in groups or clans. Clear to you, children? Religion in early Chinese. The nature worship. Nature worship stemmed from the importance given to the agriculture. All natural forces that could harm or benefit agriculture worshipped. These comprised rain, wind, thunder, rivers, and mountains. In China, natural forces were considered a part of heaven. Ancestors worship. The ancient Chinese believed after someone died, the spirit lived on him, and they offered food and wine to their temples to honor the spirit of ancestors. Dead ancestors were considered to be direct contact with heaven. They could intervene with God on behalf of the people. Ancestors worship is the result of the respect given to elders in a Chinese family. Belief in oracles. The Chinese made use of oracle method to foresee their future. Oracle bones were inscribed with letters and then heated so that crack and lines would appear on the surface. These cracks and lines on bones were read by the holy priest known as the oracle, and who was considered to be in touch with heaven. And the Chinese used to consult the oracles to our holy priest to know their future by asking questions. For example, will it rain tomorrow? Yeah. So that is the way they used to ask questions. Is it clear? The god of heaven. The god of heaven in Chinese culture was known as Shang Di. Emperor of China was considered the son of god of heaven Shang Di. Okay. So let's see the major religions and movements. Chinese history is characterized by three major religions: Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. The philosopher Confucius founded the religious movement which came to be known as Confucianism. Confucianism. Confucius was another great reformer of ancient China. He was born in 551 BC in an ordinary family of a small village of the Lu province, modern Shantung. He said that he wanted to teach about the mandate of heaven. The important belief of the political philosophy was that heaven would choose a person and his clan to rule. He mixed his theology with his ideas of politics. He taught what is called the silver rule of behavior, that is less expansive than the golden rules. His teachings have been reflected in 5 classics, that is the book of history, the book of poetry, the book of changes, the book of spring and autumn, and the book of rites. So Confucianism was a practical code of conduct or a way of life stressing on loyalty and dedication. Later, it was made the state religion in China. Is it clear to you, children? Let's see the architecture of Chinese civilization, Terracotta Army. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, visited Terracotta site. King Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, built this army. It is a form of funerary art found buried with the emperor in 210 and 209 BCE. It was supposed to protect the emperor in his afterlife to make sure that he had people to rule over. There were more than 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, and 500 horses. The soldiers and horses were facing east to unify all the states to confirm his determination for unification. It was said that Chinese Emperor King Shi Huang was buried, whose name China was derived. 7 lakh people were killed, not to reveal about this army, and it took 38 years to build this Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army was discovered on 29th March 1974 by farmers who were digging a water well. Look at the pieces, children, how they have joined exactly. Isn't it something great? Yeah? Okay. And the Terracotta Army is a heritage site of the world. It is a testimony to China's civilizational achievement. What did Mr. Narendra Modi write in the visitor's book? He wrote, "I am deeply impressed by the extraordinary care with which the precious heritage has been preserved." It is something amazing, isn't it? Beautiful to look at the Terracotta Army. Next we have pagodas. Chinese temple with stupa style of construction are known as pagodas. Pagodas are a traditional part of Chinese architecture, and the pagodas were originated in India, was introduced to China along with Buddhism during the Han Dynasty. Beautiful sculptures decorated the interiors of these pagodas. Children, I hope you liked. Was it interesting? Yeah? Okay. Let me stop here and continue part B in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.